The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Leadership Podcast. It is yet another edition of The Big Issue. And of course, I hope you had a very wonderful weekend. Now, without taking much of your time, going to the big issue of the day, which is Justice Tanko's resignation as CJN and matters arising. As usual, I'm your regular host. And with me here in the studio, our in-house analyst. We have Silas Ezeogu and Kunle Olasanmi.
Thank you very much, Joshua.
And of course, my name is George Agba, as Kunle has rightly insisted I must name myself. But as a regular host, I think our viewers are very conversant with my name. Well, Justice Olukayode Ariwola was today sworn in by President Muhammad Buhari as the new acting Chief Justice of Nigeria. Justice Ariwola replaces the SY CJN Justice Tanko Muhammad, who resigned from his position as CJN on Sunday. Yeah, right, it was on Sunday night, according to reports. And of course, the former CJN resigned barely a week after 14 justices of the Apex Court had written a letter alleging the decrepit state of affairs in the highest court of the land. Justice Mohammed was said to have resigned on Sunday night, citing ill health as the reason for his decision. And of course, until his resignation, reports had it that he was seriously ill. But no, most Nigerians who have reacted so far believe that the resignation may not be unconnected with the letter written by his colleagues, justices of the Supreme Court, alleging poor state of affairs at the Apex Court. In the leaked letter, the justices accused the CJN of refusing to address the issues, despite drawing his attention to them. They complained of lack of residential accommodation and vehicles at the court. They also accused the CJN of gallivanting with his spouse, children, and personal staff, while not allowing them to travel with an assistant on foreign trips. The justices also decried the lack of legal research assistance, despite the magnitude of cases being adjudicated. And of course, the CJN was said not to have attended the opening of the training for judges on alternative dispute resolution organized by the National Judicial Institute. Although the Supreme Court justices too were not present at the event, but the CJN, as is the tradition, is supposed to declare the event open, or any of his representatives. Well, let's start with you. Some Nigerians say the CJN was magnanimous enough to have resigned, unlike some public office holders in Nigeria and some other African clients who, despite concrete allegation level against them, they will still hold on to office until public outcry will force their prosecution. The CJN's resignation, how do we see it? Is he ill health on grounds of ill health? Was it as a result of the allegations level against him?
I would say that, let me start by saying that there is a saying that there is no smoke without fire. And many believed that the former CJN, who is former was, I don't want to say forced. Let me say he was advised to resign based on the letter the 14 justices of the court wrote last week, the protest letter they wrote last week. And I will also say that maybe the CJN was the architect of his own, I don't know whether to call it misfortune now, because if you ask me, or if I were him, if I were the CJN, I wouldn't have reacted to that letter. I mean, coming out with a statement to say that, to respond to the allegations Because if you look at that letter, I got a copy, I saw it. It was not dated, it was not signed, and it was not on a letter-headed paper. I'm talking about the protest letter written by these 14 justices.
I'm sorry to cut you short. That even reminds me, apart from those things you mentioned, the letter too was grammatically, it was badly written. Is that
That's why I
how
said
justices of the
the
judges
apex court, yes, who writes judgment almost on
so I'm baffled.
So what I'm saying is, if I were him, I wouldn't have reacted to that letter. I wouldn't have responded, because I have every reason not to have responded to that letter, because, like I said, it was not signed. It was not the I saw the letter. It was only the names of the justices
that were
that purportedly wrote the letter that were listed, and then there is no date. It's unsigned, and then it was not on a letter-headed paper. It was just on just any other paper. That's why I said, if I were him, I wouldn't have responded. What I would have just done is probably call them and settle this matter amicably, find a way to settle it. You know, if he had not, because let's look at it this way, I will say that this man gave that letter credibility by responding to it.
Yes.
Because let me give you an example. When I saw the letter, when my attention was drawn to it in the office, I said, I can't touch this letter until I'm able to confirm it. You understand what I'm saying? That was my response.
And it wouldn't have been your fault, because some people, there's no way you see a letter that was not signed, not on the letter-headed paper,
not dated,
and then at the end of the day, you even question the credibility
grammatical error
of the, based on the grammatical errors we say no, they are lost ships at the apex court, cannot be writing this.
So that's why I said,
blunder.
He gave that letter that led, because no doubt about it, this letter led to his resignation. No doubt about it. In fact, the MBA came up with a statement just now that his resignation may not be unconnected. That was what he said in the statement just now. I just finished doing the report now. That it may not be unconnected with the letter, the protest letter by the
allegations raised in the letter.
The allegation raised by and that it needs to be investigated. Now, like I was saying, if I were in his shoes, I wouldn't have bothered myself to respond to it. Let them, if they feel aggrieved, let them come out. And from what I gathered, I don't know whether it is right to say this on air. I learned these things has been on. Of course, this issue has been on for a while. I learned two justices who recently resigned have been suppressing this thing. They are the ones who have been rallying around, spearheading, and then telling them to cool down and all that. But immediately they resigned. No, sorry. Immediately they retired. Sorry, immediately they retired. These two justices, immediately they retired recently. I think they said they retired in May last month or so. Two of them. Immediately they retired, this thing started. So it is not something that just started today. You know, and I understand what the justice or the justices or the one of the justices that retired understand what she was trying to do. Because let's look at it this way. If I were in her shoes, I would do the same thing, because I am your second in command. Those behind me are protesting. If I join them in the protest, it will look as if I am ambitious. I want to take over your seat. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So that's why she continued to pacify them. She continued to prevail on them to sheath their sword, that they will find a way out. But immediately she retired, this happened. So it is not something that just happened overnight. It has been on. So that's the situation.
Well, I saw an online report also alleging that the former CJN was forced to resign as CJN following corruption allegation against one of his sons. And of course, they said the son was said to have accepted a $10 million bribe from a former governor of Sokoto after promising to procure judgment for him on an election matter that didn't later materialize. How true could this be?
Well, I think
It's an online report.
what
Anyway,
I
it's
what
not- it's
I
not
know,
confirmed.
what I know,
Still an
what
allegation,
I
man.
know,
Mm.
what I know is that what I heard is that two of his sons are into politics, and that I think the two of them got tickets to represent their various constituencies. I think under the ruling APC. That is how much I know about that. I am not aware of this
very witty
of
allegation.
course, it's a very witty allegation which I may not be able to comment on here. But what I'm aware of is that two of his sons are into politics. And that they got tickets to contest in the next election. And another allegation, it's also an allegation, is that probably the money was used for the election. I can't confirm that. I cannot confirm that. So
the money the justice are asking for.
Yes, I cannot confirm that. That's just what I
well, we
probably that is what this report is
trying to.
Yes.
Well, we'll come back, and when we come back, then Saila will take it up so that we'll start looking at some of these allegations level raised, the issues raised by the 14 justices of the Supreme Court. And then we want to find out, let's know whether this thing started within the tenure of the outgone CJN, Justice Tanko Muhammad, because we have always known that some of these issues had always been there. The Supreme Court before he came on board. Although there is the allegation of him gallivanting from one place to the other with his family, while not even allowing even a single aid to any of the justices travel along for foreign trips. Well, we'll be back shortly. Don't go offline. As we go on break, we expect that our viewers will join us by contributing constructively to the conversation on the big issue by way of their comment. We'll be back in a while.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
The Big Issue. Breaking down the issues that matter.
You're welcome back. We are still on the big issue in Leadership Podcast. And of course, the big issue of the day is Justice Tanko's resignation as CJN and matters are rising. Well, Silas, we've heard it all. And of course, if brother justices will accuse their own brother who is their head, the position of the CJN is not just, I think he's the general head of the judicial arm of government.
Yes.
Because he's the Chief Justice of Nigeria, that's the head of the highest court in the land. And at the same time, he is the chairman of the NJC, the national.
He's the number one man in
judiciary.
But the president is the head of the
executive. And then the Senate president, the head of the legislative
arm
of government. Yes. And then when your brothers begin to point fingers at you, an allegation based on abuse of office and high-handedness, that is what it amounts to. You keep gallivanting with your family from one country to the other. At the end of the day, you don't put proper structures in place, especially when it has to do with them traveling. You don't allow even a single of their aid. Join them in the trip. I think this is a very serious allegation that will warrant somebody's resignation. And then we look at some of the allegations leveled against him, that at the end of the day, power supply, no diesel, and then what have you again? That the lack of research assistant, despite the magnitude of cases being adjudicated. And then what again do we have here? That they have been confined to work between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. for lack of diesel.
These are sensitive issues.
Let's look at them. Did it start during the tenure? I think Kunde, before Silas comes in,
You see,
this thing
you see, this
has been a general problem, and most
from
Nigerians
his
say
response,
it is happening.
from his response
Mm.
last week, from the response of the former CJN,
Mm.
of the immediate past CJN,
Mm.
to some of this allegation, he said that the country is operating under an excruciating economy.
That is an indictment on the Buhari administration.
That's what he said.
Mm.
In fact, that was where I kicked my story last week. And he said Supreme Court is operating under that economy. Now, let us look at it from this angle. You asked a question the other time when you were talking to Silas that this kind of issue
The challenges or the problem.
yes, happening in the highest court in the land.
Mm.
I will say that this is not the first time we are witnessing drama in the Supreme Court, but it is not on some of these allegations. It is not about brother justices alleging high-handedness, alleging corruption, alleging negligence or not being carried along. It is not about that. I remember during Uwais and who is it called? Uwais and Belgore. Uwais was the CJN who spent about I think about 11 years or so in Supreme Court then, and the next in line, Justice Belgore, was to spend just 6 months.
I think he's one of the short
6 months. Just 6 months. I remember I interviewed him then. I remember I interviewed him then because, in fact, the man, I was lucky when the problem was going on between them. Okay, Belgore, because I interviewed him, Belgore was saying that there was an agreement between them, between him and Wiz, that 6 months before the expiration of his tenure, he will step aside so that Belgore can come in and spend 1 year. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Yes. So that was the cause of the problem. I interviewed him then. I remember in his office, in Belgore's office. I interviewed him then, and he said some of these things. So what I'm trying to say is that this is not the first time this kind of drama is happening at the highest level. And I also remember during the time of Katsina Alu, when it was during Uwais too, when these Lebanese brothers, I forget their names now, that owns Honda. If you remember, they own Honda. They own Honda. I forgot their name now. They alleged that Supreme Court justices collected bribe in their case. Then I remember in the case of Katsina Alu too, and Justice Ayo Salami, if you remember. So these are some of the dramas that have played out in the Supreme Court. But this one is within them. This one is within them. Now it's between, like I say, the head of the court and those under him. You understand? So it is a very, very serious matter. And just like NBA has said, it is a good thing that he has resigned. And for me, I will say that it is just a soft landing that they have given to him, just the way they gave to Onogen. Then Justice Onogen then, because that one too was a soft landing. They told him, you see that you resign or we prosecute you. So for me, if there is no skeleton in his cupboard, I don't think he will gladly resign, because just as you said, in Nigeria, we are not always happy to resign. You know, it is not a good thing, or it is not a good way to go to go. It is not a good way
To
for
bow
him
out.
to end his career.
Yeah.
You know, and let us sorry, Silas, let's look at it this way. He came in as CJN under controversy,
Mm.
and he's
He's
living
living.
under controversy.
Thank you
So
very much, Silas.
for me, it is not a good thing for him
To
to
have gone
to
in this
this way.
circumstance. Yes.
And I congratulate this man, Justice Olukayode Ariwola.
Mm.
I hope he will learn his lesson. He will learn from the mistake of his predecessors,
Of course.
and then not follow.
Because they say by others' fault, wise men correct their steps.
So I congratulate him. He has about 6 years to go as justice of the CJN. So I want to believe that he will learn from the mistakes of others, and then I wish him a fruitful tenure in office.
Well, Silas, let's now come to look at the defense put up by the outgone CJN, Justice Muhammad Tanko, in his response to the allegations raised by the 14 justices of the Supreme Court. Justice Tanko said the Supreme Court under him had been operating under, and is did you put it, excruciating economic condition. And what does that tell you?
You know the thing that when you accuse somebody of something, you must give you an answer. Okay. First of all, that like Kule mentioned, all those allegations made against him in a letter that is not official.
It's not official.
You know, for him to respond to it, it means there was credence
to it. He
That's
gave
why
credence to it.
he gave credence to it, and for him to respond because those things they mentioned there were actually there was something to them. Okay, so that's why he had to respond to them, because there was actually truth in those things. The only thing that as somebody who is a top legal mind, I think should have used his legal mind to approach this issue and not respond publicly to it, citing that this thing cannot be responded to because these things are not signed, they're not officially,
yes,
that kind of thing.
It's a very good
behind
way
the
of,
scene, you cannot
yes, you can be talking.
Yes,
you can be talking.
Okay, because you can do something without knowing that you are really talking. But you say that this didn't start today. The thing is that those who hold positions in Nigeria, especially top management, many of the time they just cater for themselves and leave the rest to rot. It's kind of thing that not just in the judiciary, in the executive, in the National Assembly. You see them fighting over
in MDAs,
fighting over. You see the chief executive having everything to himself, and those who are after them, you're just scraping to survive. I remember somebody showing, saying that Nigerian pastors, it will not be work for them because those who work under the junior pastors, they borrow money to eat. While the big pastors are trying.
I think that had come. That was that was in one of these churches. Is it a Living Faith that thing started coming?
Yes, even the brother this was Nachi that just died. This singer. And then someone make a comment that this man will not be well for them. They live in opulence. They fly the best cars. They have
private jets.
And those who are helping them to make the music go, most of them cannot even pay their rent, cannot send their children to school, and they all come and say, "Glory to God." You understand? So what they are accusing him is not something that is alien to chief executives in Nigeria. So it shows that the servant leadership that Jonathan preached when he came. Was it Jonathan or Yaradua preached?
Yaradua, the servant leader.
Yes,
I think he started during Yaradua's
that notion
tenure.
Did not catch with Nigerian leaders. That's why it's so, because that letter, whether it is genuine or not, for you to respond to it means that he saw the genuineness of the letter. It was a kind of vote of no confidence in administration. That's what it was. For this, not magistrates, high court judges. Now, if these people at this level are complaining, like ministers, in that type of justice, if these people at this level are complaining about basic things like power, about accommodation, now imagine what those other judges and other judicial officers down the line, are going through. Do you understand?
Yes.
So it shows a father that has not bothered to find out how his
his children.
Affaring.
Affair,
You know,
yes.
so but I also wanted to say something. From the situation we had here, you have completely dispelled any notion that he resigned out of ill.
Yes.
That's what I've done here.
Yes.
Are you saying that the man is dying? Are you saying that the man is dying?
The MPA just
This
said
man
now
no,
that
he said may not be uncontented.
But
But somebody said before we entered the studio that he has not supervised, overseen a lot of things going on because of ill. I don't know how to say, but someone was saying that some of the functions he was supposed to superintend over at CJN in the last few months or weeks, he has not been there because he's not been feeling well. Okay, but one thing I said to myself that Nigerian leaders would rather stay on that seat, use that seat and go for medical checkup until that day they will not leave. They will allow
a president died in office. The president died in office, but let us look at this issue. I was telling some persons this morning. I said, some chief executives, some government officials who are high up there, they see media work as not too important, or media aid as not too important.
And then in selecting, they'll just go about selecting quacks.
If I were the media aid to the CJN, I would advise him not to respond to that statement. Honestly speaking, I would just leave it in the realm of speculation. Just as you said, we'll be talking behind. We'll be talking behind, so that we'll see how we can find a way around this.
The whole situation. Well, before we go on, please, I think we're beginning to get comments from our viewers there who are actually intending to contribute to the conversation on the big issue. And of course, we have Abdul Latif, Abdul Fatai, and he has this to say. The Chief Justice of the nation, or should I say of Nigeria, quietly resigned his position due to health issues or problems. So he that resigned has positions really that know the real reason why he did so. I think what Abdul Fattah is trying to say is that there must be a reason why he would have resigned. That at the end of the day, if it were mere allegation, I think he wouldn't have resigned. Yes, I see.
But I believe it is ill health related issues. Probably it's because he's sick.
But if it is
another
John,
everything about
APC and the employees is a total scam.
And somebody will put something.
Can we say the judicial officers and employees?
No. Let us look at it. Somebody said something this afternoon. He said under CJN, under President Buhari. From 2015 to date, we have had 3 CJNs, and 2 of those CJNs left office under controversial issue, which to me is not a good thing, because many believed that the former CJN was Onogen, somebody says Justice Onogen was eased out of office because of his maybe I would say. Somebody said he has affinity.
His political affiliation.
His affinity with the opposition, or affiliation with the opposition. That was why it was. So for me, it is not a good thing that under one administration you have 2 CJNs who came to office, and because don't even forget, even this Onogen we are talking about, he still came to office under controversial issue, because
I think he was a long-acting.
Yes, he acted for a very long time.
Acting CJN.
He acted for a long time, and many people were saying that maybe Buhari doesn't want him. And of course, there must have been security reports on him too, that okay, this person has affiliation with this person. If you share your
the one I gave my judgment in favor
of Buhari.
Where was the opposition?
That is
so why can I accuse him of being
UAP
when he had already even supported?
I'm telling you, that was in 2007.
Yes.
Under the case between Buhari and Yaradua.
He ruled in favor of Buhari.
It was even 3-3 before the CJN now
decided. That was just Nikki or something.
Yes.
Nikki Toby, yes.
No, it was Justice.
The CJN there.
Justice Kutigi. It was Justice
Are you
Kutigi.
sure?
Yes.
Okay, 2007.
Seven,
I think
it was-
yes,
it's
it
Justice
was
Kutigi,
Kutigi. I think we were there.
Yeah,
Then.
of course.
We were there.
Yeah.
It was
Now,
Kutigi.
now,
It was
wait
Kutigi.
on the side of
Buhari. Of Obasanjo. Obasanjo.
No,
Yar'Adua.
on the side
Oh,
of
sorry,
Yar'Adua.
Yar'Adua.
In
Sorry,
favor of
Yar'Adua.
Yar'Adua.
So how can they accuse him of now being?
Being
Anyway, I don't know what will happen, but
But
you say something.
men change over time.
But
So
what happens is that two CJNs under him have come under a cloud and left under a cloud.
yes,
But
He
then-
doesn't say
came
what
to
he
office through
Okay.
controversial, under controversy
but,
and left.
but did you notice one thing? That despite all these allegations, during the swearing in of the new CJN, President Buhari conferred the second highest rank in the country, GCON, on the outgone CJN, that's Justice Muhammad Tanko. Was it necessary to do that given the circumstances that he left office? Silas.
So he left office officially for health reasons.
Mm.
That's what Buhari knows.
So he was acting based on that.
When he was that, if
The
other-
president
if-
was not aware of the allegations and all.
I don't understand what you
Controversy.
are trying to say.
they have just made him a GCON holder.
When?
Second today.
Today,
The
Oh,
second
during the swearing in, I
highest
think
office
Buhari
after
named
the
him.
Yes,
I can only
no, they
know
are the CGNs are always
Yes.
CGO.
whether they left
They are always
honorable
CGO.
whether they are left honorable or
All
not
the
honorable.
CGNs. They are always
Is not going to announce GCON?
I think
Not
it's so
good.
because
or not again. I think he is.
he's
That
a
means
GCO.
that means I once wrote an article about the way national honors, titles, and chief titles are being given to undeserving
But
people.
under Buhari, Buhari hardly holds a national honor. You know, it's an annual thing.
Yes.
But if you're under Buhari, you hardly see them holding.
I'm not sure they have had that in more than once or twice.
Twice,
Since 2007.
Seven.
Since
Guys,
2015.
since 2019, none.
Mhm.
I know it held just once.
Mm.
I can't remember.
Yes,
any other time.
Remember, they were giving it to some people who said they don't want
yes.
that time. Remember.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so Yinka, Chino Achepe, and the
Yes.
rest were
It
no.
held just once, and I don't know whether.
so maybe
it came up
this
again.
like you said, CJNs are entitled to GCON. What I'm asking is, even if the person was found to be corrupt
Mm.
or a criminal, the fact that he has said that position, does it confer him automatically the title?
But as
And
it is,
two,
as it is,
I
as
ask
it
the
is,
question.
yes.
And two, if the person is found to have been a person of questionable character, will that position be withdrawn for him?
As
That's the
it
position of
is,
national honor.
as it stands,
Eh?
as it stands, the federal government does not know that, as it stands, as we speak, does not know that there is any allegation of corruption
Yes.
against this man that just retired. That is one. Two, there is no petition against him before ICPC, before EFCC,
Or
so
any court case.
or any court case. So I would say that based on that, that may be the reason why. That may be the reason the president conferred him with the national honors.
Well, we're on a very final note. I think time is practically behind. We are behind time, and but let's look at the new CJN that was sworn in today by the president, Justice Ariwola. He was a justice of the Court of Appeal between 2005 and 2011, and after having been elevated from the State High Court of Oyo State, he is said to be an experienced judge. Can he address the problems raised by the Supreme Court justices?
That's I said
I think he's
something.
coming now to
George,
he's stepping into a shoe that will be very terrible.
I said something
Because
earlier.
wait, before we say, you look, the CJN, the outbound CJN said all these things the allegations raised against him as because the Supreme Court or the judiciary has been operating under very excruciating economic. So now, him stepping into the shoe of the outbound CJN, how does he tend to address these issues?
Well, of course, like I said earlier, I said I want to believe that if I were him, I will learn from the mistake of the past. And I also want to believe he was one of those who wrote that purported letter.
Who purportedly wrote?
Well, who wrote? Because they wrote it, yes. They wrote the letter because the CJN gave credibility to that letter by responding. So he's one of them. So I want to believe that these problems they raised in that letter is going to address them, because But another thing is, I don't know whether it is only in Nigeria or it is a general thing. And I know that some persons will not always want to do like that. What I'm trying to say is that, okay, let me just give an example. That all of us are here now. We are junior staff now. All of us are complaining that management has not done this, they've not done that, they have not done this. And once one of us is elevated, we forget the issues we are complaining about. So I want to believe that he will not do that. That's Justice Ariwola, because he's one of those the justices that complained against this CJN, which led to his sack, to his resignation. So I want to believe that that problem, he will address them and not behave like
normal chief executives.
Normal chief executives that once they cross the
that threshold.
Yes, once they cross it
from the other side.
So I want to believe he will not do that. And if he does, he should remember how
what is source for the good.
Yes, how his predecessor left
also source
office.
For the gander.
So that's just
well, you can't really tell, because they say if you want to test the true character of a man, give him power
and money.
And money. Well, anyway, we congratulate the new CJN Justice Ariwola, and of course we wish him a very smooth sailing, peaceful, and productive tenure.
Yeah, 6 years. So,
I think that is long enough, because most Supreme Court justices don't stay.
Long enough to make an impact.
Yes.
To make an impact. Well, that is the much we can take for today's edition of The Big Issue. Thank you for keeping tab with us out there. And of course, I will thank our in-house analysts for analyzing and addressing the big issue the way it should go. Join us same time tomorrow for another edition of this program. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.